Hey everyone, and welcome to the Multipoint Starter Pack video. If you're watching this version of this video, it means that you are super early doors into the Multipoint update. I haven't had enough time to do the full version of this video in the sense that it's not going to be polished off. All the information is going to be in this, but it's going to be very much a one-take and candid recording because I'm about to launch in about 1 hour and I had to make way too many videos this week. And unfortunately, this one here I wasn't happy with, so I'm going to do it again. And this time around, we're going to see what happens in just one take. So let's get straight into making this lovely Multipoint starter pack and teaching you all about it. Right, with all the parts in front of me, let's put this together to learn about Multipoint. You don't technically need to have the parts printed out to follow along, but of course, if you do have them printed out, build along with me here. This again is very much going to be impromptu, one take sort of madness. All the information is going to be in it, but it might be a little bit haphazard. Okay, first, I think we should really understand what exactly a multipoint is, because you're going to see there's going to be 2 points that are going to look very similar. One of them is just going to have little triangles on it, and one is just going to be quite plain. If you put them side by side, one is just a tiny bit thinner than the other one. That's because the full multipoint, the one with the triangles, is a little bit thicker than this one here, which is a bin multipoint. And a bin multipoint is a little bit thinner just because what it does is it makes things flush to one another. This one adds a little bit of a gap of a 1 millimeter between everything. So now that we understand that little bit, you'll understand whenever you see triangles on all of these parts, that's a full multipoint one. The other one is a slim one. All right, what I'm going to do is we're going to prep the tile. We're going to get a freestanding foot. These are specifically designed to bend a bit. I'm going to put this in to one side, bend it in like so. Then I'm going to get one of these little triangular pieces. You put it in at a 45 degree and then you straighten it out. So it's a little bit fiddly, this. I remember the first time I did it, it took a bit longer than I liked, but the result is actually really nice. So what you do is you first get it started, just get the top bit in a little bit, get the bottom bit in a little bit, and then you just slowly work your way up and down, and then that's what forces this to stay open and is completely strong. So we'll do that to the other side as well. Go here. I'm going to put that in here. Dun, 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 dun. There we go. And up and there and there and there. And there we have it. So now this is a freestanding tile. The fun bit about this one is that it's got little threaded feet, so you could actually screw this on underneath a desk or anything you want. Okay. With that done, let's put on our first multipoint. So I'm going to grab ourselves a full multipoint and I use a coin to tighten them in. Of course, this is a small thread multipoint, so I'm going to just decide where exactly I want this to be. I'm going to get myself a bin. I'm going to say somewhere about there. So one up, I'm going to go right here and I'm going to thread this in a little bit. Now, before I just jump straight into that, they do come folded. You just have to fold them down. And this is because they have the most strength in this orientation when they're printed like that. Then I'm going to get the coin and screw it all the way in. Perfect. That was over tightened. You want the top bit of the point that way, upwards like that. Now, depending on what side of the tile is, it can sometimes be like that, but don't worry, it doesn't actually make a difference. Only in very extreme cases does it actually make any type of a difference. Now, because these are full multipoints, the bottom of a bin is a full multipoint connection, which lets you just straight up put a bin onto a multipoint just like that. Right, now the other fun thing about multipoint are the rails of multipoint. You'll see that here we have a multipoint plate as well. These are incredibly overpowered, but we have that exact same rail on the side of bins. Now the reason why we have that is for a cool thing called a pop-in. I'm going to show you a pop-in first time around by doing some pop-in extensions. So this is a 0.5 and a 0.5. I want these two to be together. So you'll see we have the little notches up at the top. We'll put that up there. And then I'm going to grab myself this right here. Now I'm wanting this. So there's my multi-point. I'm going to go for the bottom of it. So I'm going to put it there. I'm going to get my pop in. I'm going to have it folded. By the way, sometimes when these are really tightly together like so, I get myself a little screwdriver, put it in, open it up a little bit, so then it's easier to unfold. Now with it unfolded, I'm going to just put it in there. Now I don't do it with my finger because it pinches your finger. I use a bit of metal or something, and then what I always do is I support the other side. You have to support the other side while you pop it into place. And you'd be surprised how strong that is. Now we'll do it to the other side as well. So I'm going to go here, we'll put it here, again, support it, pop it in. And that is a pop-in. Pop-ins are incredibly useful and they come in all sorts of varieties. And this is one of the key things of the Multipoint update. So with that there, let's just put in a drawer. Boom. Okay, the drawers have some fun functionalities. They have little dots on the bottom there that stops them from just sliding out. Of course, if you go extreme, it will slide out. But if I wanted to stop a drawer coming out completely, how would I stop that? Well, we have these teeny tiny little stoppers. These are drawer stoppers. You put one in the top and click it into place. We'll put one into this other place and click it in. That's why these drawers have these little flaps, because that's the calculated spot for this to go in at an angle and slide back. So then if they do slide out, they're not going to fall out. All right, we have a drawer ready there to go. We're going to get this other one and we're going to have it here ready to go as well. But how do we connect these two together? Like, I really want to connect them together. Well, the best way to do it is again with pop-ins. So the standard way of doing most bin-to-bin connections is with this lovely piece right here. It's a full multi-point here, and this is an X and this is an O. So we have everywhere where it opens up, that's X. Where it is a line is an O. And this bottom bit is I. So this is I-O-X-O. Okay? It's a bit weird, I know, but trust me, it makes sense the more you use it. The first time I looked at it, it was a bit strange to me. So I'm just going to pop this into right there. And now with that popped in, what I'm also going to do is get this little click connector part right here. This clicks into some snake bites that are on to the bottom of the bin here. And now with these two, I can now just slide them together and make sure that that snake bite there on the back also goes all the way in. I click that in, and now that's these two really solidly together. Now the only problem that I've done here, which this is one take, so I'm sorry about that. This is a full multi-point. It has the little triangles on it, so it left a little gap between the bins, and I didn't want that. I need to go for one here. This one has no triangles on the front of it, which means now when I actually pop this in properly, there we go. This is going to be a perfect flat flush finish from bin to bin. There we go, that's better. I can then click that in, there we have it. And this is now perfect how I want it, really strong and on there. Okay, with those two there, we know that we can just go here. Remember, the points, they hook on this way. I'm going to be able to go to here and just hook those together. Now, if you've noticed something when I was doing this, those two are a set distance apart. That is 50 millimeters. That is usually the distancing of bins. So that is the 50 millimeter distancing here. We'll put that in there and that in there. Now, before we move on to do the side walls of the bins, let's just finish off this drawer here. We're going to add some little clips here onto the side of it. That there, and this one over here. But you know what? I also feel like this doesn't match very nicely to there. So we have some little slim click covers here. Now these can be a little bit tricky in the sense that if they are too tight, you have to just sort of give them a little bit of a bend. Not much, like really hardly anything of a bend. And then you'll be able to just put this here and you'll be able to just click it into place like so. I'll do the same all the way around this one here. So go here, click it in like so, over to this one, click it in, and we'll go to this one here and click it in. Now you don't technically need to add these covers, but hey, if you want to prettify it and add your own colors, why should I stop you? So there's that. We'll then put that in there, and that's all set and ready. So now let's talk about the side bits, doing it vertically rather than just the bottom. It is very similar. We're going to get this lovely peg click pop in, and remember, we'll go for the hook on the upward direction. I'm just going to go to here, put it in. You can pull from these, but once again, I would suggest going with this. We click this in place, and I could just go up to the tile here and click it in like so. This is now ready to go. So I'm going to add a couple more pop-ins now. So we're going to do this little pop-in right here. The reason why we have this pop-in that isn't actually round is so that if I were to put this one right here on the bottom front, and again, let's just pop that like that, it means that I would be able to do a 0.5 bin right here on the front. Now, if you notice, that also wasn't a full one, so these are perfectly flush to one another as well. Okay, with that now sorted, let me just wiggle that out here. Let's do the other one here on the side. So I've got a nice little point one here. I'll put that one down here and get a little bit tricky with everything so close to the board. And there we go. Come on. Boom. Boom. There we have it. So that's in there. And I want to put this bin right here on the side and down, but I also want there to be a multi-point in this spot here. Well, if I were to use a normal multi-point, this would do a 1mm offset from here. But this isn't offset because this here is clicked in and is perfectly flat. So I have to use a thin multi-point or a slim multi-point and put that one right there. So I'm going to tighten that one up. There we have it. And now with that in place, I'll be able to actually connect this on 2 points if I make sure that I get them both at the same time, and that's now connected up. All right, with that connected up, let's prettify this side a little bit because we have another slim click on this side. Perfect. And then I've got a couple of slim clicks for this guy, one here and another one over here. Now this one, yeah, there we go. It's clicked in. Okay. Now we're going to get into a really interesting part, which is going to be the rails and the multi-point plate on the other side. Now, just before we jump into the multi-point plate, let's first talk about the positive rails. So here we have a bolt lock rail. So I'm going to get myself 2 hooks here. So these are the weight-bearing hooks. So I'm going to put one on the top there. Again, with the arrow upwards, both arrows upwards. These are going to get bolt locked in with multi-points. So let's get myself a multi-point here, another multi-point here, and let's tighten them both in. There we go. That is both of them tightened in like so. I'm going to bring my tile in. I'm going to go to the top corner here, and I'm just going to click that into place. So that's that in place. Now, what I'm also going to do is I'm going to add another one here and another one here of points, because points do also come as a bolt. So let me do a large bolt here. Now, I find that these bolts can be a little bit tricky because they don't have much of a rim to connect them in. So you can use the bolt gripper tool to give you more of something meaty to be able to grab that thin bolt. And then let's add one here. Now this one is a bolt lock multi-point. Again, it's a full one, so I'm just going to pop that right in there. I don't need to over crank it to put it in because the bolt lock's going to be the thing that's going to be keep it in place. So I'll use a multi-point on the back here. I'm going to tighten it in. It doesn't need to be nuclear, just tighten it up till it's fastened in. And then I'm going to put this over here. Okay, now with that there, I'm going to get ourselves this lovely little shelf here. And the shelf, you'll see that it has entry points that are 50 millimeters away. So I could actually line this up 50 millimeters away from each other and then slide it across to put it on. Now, if it were to go onto a rail now, that's not going to go anywhere. So that's the sort of the caveat of points versus rails for these little shelves, which is a rail, you're going to have to slide it on all the way from the end. But if you go with points, it means you can go to a point and disconnect it there and reconnect it at a point spot as well. Okay, I'm going to disconnect this for a moment. I'm also going to take these bins off so that we can work with the multipoint tile on the other side a little bit easier. So the multipoint tile is incredibly powerful. This is a double-sided multipoint plate, and wow, this plate has some very unique things about it. So let's just go and let's place it here. You'll see that this lines up pretty well with some holes, and you've got it, multipoint to the rescue once again. So I'm just going to put a multipoint into that hole there. We're going to line it up, and we're just going to tighten that one down. Now again, it doesn't need to be nuclear. You've just got to get it to a point that it tightens down nicely. I'll do it again here to this one here. And technically, for this setup, it would be fine to just do it like that. But if you're using the one-sided multiplate instead of the two-sided one, when you put a pop in, it's going to warp a little bit. So I want to show you also connecting the sides here. So I'm going to get myself another multipoint. I'm going to put it onto the side here. We're going to tighten it down just a touch. Perfect. We'll go to the other side here. We're going to tighten that one up just a touch as well. Okay, now looking at the snaps of the pop-in snaps that we have left, I wonder if you'll be able to take a look truly and understand what we have going on here. Because two of them are going to be full multipoints and the other two are going to be bin side or thin or whatever I'm calling them, slim multipoints. I'm really struggling with the names. I've changed a lot of names a lot of times in the last 14 weeks, so I'm still getting them all in here. Okay, so what we're going to do is going to get the full multipoint. So where would the full multipoints be? That would let us connect to the back of a bin. So with that said, I'm going to put these pop-ins down all the way here. So that's going to be that one there. I'm going to pop that into place. I'm going to go down all the way to this one here. Come on. Always a little bit tricky sometimes. There we go. And there it is. There we go. Make sure it's in place. And then I'm going to pop that into place like so. And that's going to be able to support my drawer bins like so. But I want to also connect my slim one right there. And I want to connect this one here. So if I want to connect this one here, actually no, I want to connect this one over here. So I'm going to still use what I've got here. Yeah, I think so. Hold on, I'm a little bit confused now with what I was creating here. You see, this is why this is a little bit haphazard, because this one, yeah, this one still connects here with a peg click like so. Oh, of course, I'm being silly now, aren't I? Why? I got it. I've messed up here, which is actually the multipoints here. They don't actually go down to this one here. They go down all the way to the bottom. So I'm going to put a little this way. I use a little screwdriver to take them out. These need to go all the way down to the bottom. Of course they need to go all the way down to the bottom. So let's put that all the way down to the bottom here. Click that into place. Again to this one all the way down at the bottom. And click it into place. Perfect. That's going to connect that into there. That now makes a lot more sense for me. And then from here, those other two, which is one is going to go all the way up at the top, which I'm going to go for this one here. Yeah, all the way up at the top like that. And then the other one is going to go a little bit further down. And this was because I can grab this one here and I can just slide it onto there. And then this one here If I'm wanting to connect something to it, I need to remove something from it. So let's go ahead and let's go and disconnect this peg click. And with that peg click then disconnected, I can connect the one that has the flush side to the flush here. And this will just let me connect that there. So as you can see, it's incredibly modular, all of this, in the way that you can just connect things up anywhere and everywhere you want. So we'll just bring this back around. I'm taking this out, taking the peg click back out. Let's go and just pop that back in quickly, and we'll go to the other side. Now you'll see that the other side needs to line up where the gap is on the multi-point plate there, so that it's able to click in like so. And let's get our nice little bin once again by dragging it up and putting it onto this side right there. And then once again we'll go for this, we'll just go to 50mm apart, drag it across, and there it is. Oh my goodness me. So there you guys have it. That is the multi-point starter pack. There is a lot to get a hold here, but ultimately the key thing here is everything connects and pops in one way or the other. Now, I am so sorry that you've had to experience this video here, but I hope it sort of put it all across. I am 100% going to be updating this video to be a lot more concise and straight to the point. But thank you so much for supporting this so early on. It really does mean a lot to me to have you here so quickly into launching this. All right. Thank you so much for watching, and keep making.